So we had in the prison hospital.
Yeah.
We had this guy locked up in there, and we suited up, which is just like a shield, and then a couple guys.
Yeah, well, I've seen the people
Yeah,
with
you know,
shields
the
before.
first guy goes in with the shield.
Green Mile.
The guy starts fighting. You pin him down, and you cuff him or something. You know, we didn't even. I don't even think we used pepper spray back at the hospital because there's too many other sick people in there or whatever. But so this guy was in the prison waiting room. And we were outside, and it was all, those doors were all glass and the walls were all glass. And he was just kind of sitting on the bench, and he was talking all shit, you know, like, I can't wait for you guys to come in here so I can beat your asses and da-da-da.
Oh, this is the guy that was not
The guy that's getting ready to get moved out to a higher level facility.
Okay.
And you know, this is where we get geeked up, you know, it's like, all right, man.
And you're going in there with the shield to go get him?
Well, I
Or
didn't
you
have
just,
a shield.
You're just viewing, or are you just there?
No, we're kind of waiting. We're waiting. We got the camera going. So it's a shield guy, a camera guy, and maybe 3 or 4 other.
Why
officers.
a camera guy?
For like legal reasons?
Yeah, for legal reasons.
Okay.
If they say you hit me, you're like, sorry.
Right. Why the
Hit us first.
Why the camera, right?
Yeah.
Why the camera, you ask? So I'm standing behind the camera guy, and I'm back there, and I'm talking. I'm talking my crap, but not out loud because I want to make sure that that this guy sees me, you know, but the camera can't hear me and stuff. So I'm behind the camera. And I'm like,
Oh, you're like hyping him up.
I'm getting all
That
hyped
is
up. He's like,
awesome.
come on. And so we end up going in there and we snag the guy out, throw him in the van, and a couple hours later, Warren Phillips calls me in the office and he goes, hey, come here for a minute. I'm like, what? He goes, I want you to look at my monitor.
Oh no.
And I go, okay. And I'm looking in the monitor. I'm like, yeah, this guy was a real asshole. He wanted to kick our asses and stuff. And he goes, hey, look in that mirror right there on that back wall. And I started looking up in that mirror that was in the back wall in this waiting room with the camera was on. And you could see me in the background doing
Oh
all
my
that
gosh,
stuff.
that is hilarious.
He goes, I know you were behind the camera, but you got to watch out for mirrors too.
That
he was
is
okay with you
hilarious.
doing it.
He kind of was okay.
Yeah,
he had to check me. He had to say something to me.
Yeah,
well,
to
yeah,
let me know that.
Yeah.
he
More like a
shouldn't be doing
warning,
that
like,
stuff. Yeah,
hey, we
yeah.
want you to do that.
Yeah, I didn't. It wasn't like I did something on camera that I'm going to get fired for, but you know, you're not supposed to geek him up like
Yeah.
that. But I was young, you know, I was young and I wanted to fight too. Yeah, he was getting more amped. And it probably, you know, I just happened to be the guy in the front. I'm sure everybody else behind me was doing the same thing because we were all young
yeah.
and dumb. And well, I mean, that was like our days of fighting. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we got to do for fun sometimes.
Just amped
get-
up.
we
get a
didn't, we
prisoner
didn't want
hyped up.
to, we didn't try to, but if we had to, we would.
Did any of those situations ever go really wrong? Like someone was in there and then they went to brace him and that guy just totally took out the guy with the shield?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah.
Oh my,
yeah.
what was there? Was there?
I had a guy, the big dude that we called him the Russian something, right? The Russian.
How
something.
big was he?
He was a big dude, and we hit him with pepper spray like 3 times. And he was
3 times.
He was opening his mouth and going,
Oh my
eating the
god.
pepper spray, and we're all like around.
That's
and our eyes are
terrifying.
burning. You don't really-
He's like a
You
super.
got a gas mask on. By the time you get in there and you're wrestling around, this guy's got gas all over him, and you know he's sweating, you're sweating. This shit gets in your eyes. It blows up the whole housing unit. Everybody starts bitching because there's gas in the housing unit and stuff. So yeah, he was just eating it. I've never seen a guy just sit there and just open it. He opened it. Most guys like take a wet towel and they put it over their face and they try to avoid it. Stuff. This guy was just like,
Oh my
And why was he
God.
Russian? Actually,
I think he was Russian. Yeah, I don't know if he was just a
The
big. I don't
That
know.
was breakfast.
I don't know
Pepper
if
spray.
Russians
That was
eat
breakfast.
gas for breakfast or pepper spray for breakfast or not. But
Right in his mouth.
I mean, I know they drink
Did
a
he
lot of
say
vodka,
anything in
but
that moment? Like,
did he? I
am Russian.
yeah, I am.
I am Russian.
pepper spray eater.
That could be a super.
Yeah, that could be a super. You can't
super
take me
villain.
down. I wish you know. I've actually even after the tasers, I've seen guys get hit with tasers and just rip them out.
Oh, I'm
You know,
sure.
most of the time you see it on TV and those guys fall down fast.
Yeah.
A lot of times they do, but I've seen guys that just like and rip
Like,
it out.
I've
and then
felt worse.
And then you're like, oh shit. Now we got to go in.
Yeah, what are you supposed to do then?
And we didn't have tasers until later on in my career. So luckily we had.
Did
to
you
spin
ever
it.
carry like batons?
No, never the batons or pepper spray or
Wow.
anything.
I'm still set on that. This guy ate the pepper.
Yeah,
spray.
that is
that would
ate it.
literally
insane.
spook me out of my mind. I'd be like,
it literally. Then we had to kick the door open and go in and get the guy right after that. We're all like,
Ugh.
oh man.
oh
yeah.
my gosh. Did it ever? Were there any extractions that didn't even need that? Like the guy would just get out and go? I'm sure there had to be some, right?
Well, there's lots of times where we'd get all dressed up, and most of the time the bigger guys were part of the extraction teams or the
Yeah.
goon squads or whatever you want to call them. What do they call them? I don't remember. ERT, emergency response teams and stuff like that. There is actually after a while they actually had designated people that went to training for it and stuff, so they were ERT.
In case, hey, by the way, guys, you might come across the supervillain pepper spray eater.
Yeah, yeah.
This is what you're gonna
That big
do that.
Russian down in 3 block, don't ever pepper spray him. Just go in
He
after
likes
him.
it.
He likes
Yeah,
it.
because it makes it worse. It really does. Because
Yeah, probably just
then
amps
there's
him
pepper
up.
spray everywhere, and our gas masks are falling over because he's trying to fight us, and we're trying to pin him down. And
What do you even do then? Like, because this guy, he's pepper sprayed. Did you guys like wrestle him down, or what did you do?
yeah, hopefully the guy with the shield goes in there and gets him pinned enough to where the other 3 guys can go in and two take
Yeah,
his
right.
legs,
Yeah.
and 2 take his upper body or whatever.
He won't go that far if he does get through.
Yeah, we were never trained back in my day. We just did what we had to do to get a guy out of himself. We needed to come out.
Were there any other super villain type story? Like someone did something you're like, this literally feels like it's from a movie. I see you smile.
I mean, there's tons and tons of, like I said, I worked 28 and a half
Oh,
years
yeah.
here, so I've seen tons of stuff. And I did, later on, I could read files because they were easier to get to, and a lot of them were on the computer and stuff, so you could just click on something and read files. And, it's amazing that this guy that you've been talking to for like 3 weeks is now, you find out that he's a serial killer and he killed half his family and jumped up on the truck.
Oh my gosh.
And
Yeah.
then, the next time you got talking to me, like, hey, dude, did this really happen yet? Yeah, those were my
Jeez.
in-laws, and it was Halloween, or it was Thanksgiving, and I went in the house, and he was pissed at his wife or something, and so he went in the house, and his wife's parents were there, and he killed them first, and then
Oh, gosh.
his wife's family, like brothers or something, pulled up in a truck, and he jumped out of the house with the shotgun and jumped up on the hood, started blasting people in the truck and stuff. I'm like, oh man, I didn't realize that this guy was that bad.
Jeez.
That
And
is-
I'd been talking to him for who knows how long.
Yeah.
Like a normal person, but that's why you don't want to know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure he wasn't in there to kill more people. Not that there wasn't people that were like that.
Yeah. You just,
There was definitely people like that I ran into. Yeah, there's other people you run into. Like
Yeah.
I knew Jack Kevorkian. I don't know if
I-
you guys-
I'm
we're
not
you guys
sure.
are too young for that.
yeah, we're
but
not even,
for all the older people. He was Dr. Death in the state of Michigan. So he was
oh my gosh.
I
I'm familiar with
recognize the
Dr.
name
Death.
Dr. Death. Yeah.
assisted suicide.
Yeah. Yep.
So he invented machines that were assisted suicide. So like, that you can take your pet to the vet if they get sick and they're suffering and you can give them a shot.
Yeah.
He made machines that would, that the people that were so bad off or the families would come see him or whatever. And the person that was dying or whatever would have to push the button, but it would inject the stuff that would end up killing him and stuff. He ended up getting charged, and he was on 60 Minutes and all that kind of stuff. But
That's
yeah,
That's such
so
a
I knew
weird,
him.
I mean,
I knew White Boy Rick when he was in prison.
That
Who is-
rings a bell, but I don't.
yeah, that rings a bell.
There was
too.
a movie a couple years ago about White Boy
White Boy
Rick.
Rick.
He was a white
might-
boy
that's probably
that
where I
sold
remember it.
drugs in Detroit, and so they called him White Boy Rick. And it was a big thing back in the day because he was supposedly working undercover with the mayor, or not with the mayor, but against the mayor of Detroit. So when
Oh
he
my
gets
gosh.
sentenced to prison, they left him in there for years and years and years
Wow.
and years. And he just got out recently. Actually, he had to go to Florida and do a couple years because while he was in prison, him and his sister were doing something with cars and
Oh.
selling something about cars.